Hey there, brother. This is Steve Horseman again with Good Guys to Great Men. Thanks for coming to another weekend edition of my YouTube channel video. I'm a bit of a weirdo, and I think you're a bit of a weirdo too, because you are sitting there on your phone or your computer listening to some guy in a shed on a mountain in Colorado with a dog talking about men being weirdos. You know what the biggest part of being weird is for me? There's two things for me, and it might be true for you too. At least one of them might be true. I've got a dirty little secret that I don't tell many people, and it kind of makes me weird. And the other part of my secret is that I've learned to not give a shit about telling people this secret. They say that men are supposed to like things and women like people, right? Men are gravitated toward engines and tools and sports and violence, and women are attracted to conversations and people and collaboration and relationships. And that's not really true. I mean, in general, guys do like doing stuff with their hands, art, mechanics, music, anything. We're creative. We like doing that, but women can do that too. But in general, women like conversation more, the ideas of cooperation and collaboration and connection. They're better at it. History shows they're better at it. But here's the weird thing. Guys who watch this video channel, guys like you and me, secretly like both. We like things. We like things. We like creating things. We like doing things with our hands. We like knowing things, technical things. We like being intellectually sharp when it comes to technical things, computers, or any problem that we're trying to solve. So here's my dirty little secret. Most of my life, especially back in the 70s or when I got my first car, I liked being the guy who knew how to do things. I had an uncle who taught me how to do a lot of stuff, a lot of handyman stuff, doing hardware stuff. Taught me how to tune up my 1971 Nova with the 6-cylinder 250. Taught me how to put a timing light on it. He taught me how to check the point gap. If you're not old enough to know, before electronic ignitions, there were things called points that would open and close every time your distributor shaft went around. Mine did 6 times for every cylinder, and at the top of every top dead center point, I had to measure the gap, and the gap I had to adjust to make it was between 0.32 and 0.34 inches. And I learned that was called a dwell time or a dwell angle. And then I got confused. Is this a gap or is this an angle? Because I'm a math guy, and I had to figure out what dwell angle meant in order to get my points set right in my car. And so a lot of my life I was trying to impress you by telling you stuff like that. I know what a camshaft looks like. I know how a timing light is used. All of that stuff, I would try to impress people with my knowledge of the outdoors, of things, of mathematics, auto mechanics. And I thought by showing my masculine side of things that I would impress you. One thing I never told anybody though, and here's my dirty little secret, on Sundays after I tuned my car up, I would go get the Baltimore Sun and I would read the comics. Try to beat my brother to it, because you never want to be the second one to read the comics, if you know what I mean. So I'd read the comics, but one thing I never told anybody, and now I'm telling you, is that on the other side of the comics, it was the advice column. It was Ann Landers and her sister Dear Abby, and they'd have all these questions from people going, hey, I have a problem. My wife won't do this, or my sister-in-law does that, or my son does this, and they're asking advice. I gotta tell you, dude, after I got done tuning up my car and reading the comics, I'd sneak over here and I would cover up the answer. I'd read the question to Ann Landers, and I'd read it and I'd go, oh, that's tough. And I would try to come up with what I would say, because I was so impressed that she had such a level-headed, mature sensibility about things. She would say, wake up and smell the coffee. She would pull people up short in her advice. She was so self-assured in what she believed about relationships and people and families and stuff like that. And I'm going, this lady's a rock star. I wonder if someday I might give advice. And so here I am. We got 30,000 dudes like me, 30,000 weirdos like me, who quietly look on their phone or their computer, listening to stuff that is a little bit deeper than the dwell angle on a 1971 Nova. Now, I still love that stuff, but I got to tell you, I really love this stuff. I love this conversation about people, about relationships, about emotions, about the idea of vulnerability. And here's the other thing that I mentioned. The other thing that makes me weird is that over the years, I've learned to not give a crap. The reason I can look in the camera and say, dude, I read Ann Landers, and I still do, and I think it's cool. I think conversations and connections and collaborations and relationships, though, I think it's cool. It's fascinating to me. as much as a 71 Nova is, as much as taking a walk with my dog in the woods. But if you're a weirdo too, that means you're in the right place. If you've made it this far in the video, it means you're in the right community. This is your tribe. We're a bunch of men's men who realize that you can be both. You can like things and people. You can have a broad array of interests. And at the same time, you cannot give two craps about what anybody thinks about it. That is the other side of being a man's man. And it's not a rough and tumble kind of thing. What it is that you don't give a shit what other people think about what you like. You talk about it in a way that's unapologetic. You talk about what you're interested in with a glimmer in your eye and passion in your heart. You yell it from the rooftops because you don't care. And it is really cool not to care what other people think of you, because that is almost the biggest source of suffering men have, is worrying about what somebody else is going to think about them. Am I being a pussy? Am I being weak? Am I not being man enough? Maybe I should talk about football more. I can hold my own in a conversation about football, but I'll tell you what, I get bored after about 20 minutes. It's just not that interesting to me. I've got other stuff. And what about you? Do you have other stuff to talk about? Do you like this conversation? Do you like being broader than just the timing specs on a 71 Nova, Chevy Nova? Do you like this? If you do, you're in the right place. I want you to watch more videos on this channel. I want you to think about joining our community. We talk like this 24/7, and you'll find that there are hundreds and hundreds of men who are weirdos just like me and you. And I would love to meet you. I'd love to have you come in there in person and maybe someday see you at a retreat. But I want to tell you, dude, you're in the right place. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.